Class is in session. Hey, what's up guys and gals? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm gonna have kind of like a recap video of 2020 and all the crazy madness, mayhem, and events that went on in 2020. So I'm gonna be giving like my little thoughts and opinions on it, and I'm gonna be ranking them from all the way from S tier down to D tier. So the candidates for my list basically want to be on D tier because D tier means like okay, it was just okay, but S tier means like it was just ungodly, awful, or like just terrible, or complete madness or chaos. Without further ado, I want to get into this list. So I'm going to start off with the UFO sightings. So it was confirmed by the US Pentagon that there were some images or a video that leaked out, and was confirmed by the US Pentagon that they were actually real UFOs. People started going crazy saying like, oh, aliens really exist, and there were like so many crazy memes and things out there. I'm going to put that at the C tier because nothing crazy happened after that. We didn't see like an alien invasion. No aliens came to Earth to take over. It was just like, I don't know, for me it felt like they kind of confirmed something that I already felt existed anyway. So yeah, C tier for that. Next we have the impeachment trial of Donald Trump. So at I think the beginning of the year, President Trump was impeached. He became, I believe, the third president to be impeached. First we had Andrew Jackson, I'm forgetting, Bill Clinton, yeah, and Donald Trump. So I think he was the third one. Yeah, nothing really happened from that. There was a lot of news about it. I followed a little bit, but I didn't follow too much because I kind of figured like, yeah, nothing's really going to happen anyway. For me, that will be a D tier, meaning like, oh, it's forgettable. Like something major happened shortly after that trial anyway, which will rank up higher on this list once I get there. So next, I want to go to this one, to Trump bombing Iran, because that happened at the beginning of the year. So Trump dropped a bomb in Iran. I think he blew up like a Iranian I think military base, or he bombed like a top general in Iran, and everyone thought like, oh, World War III is going to break out because of this. Yeah, it was like complete madness. Again, the memes were crazy, they were hilarious, but luckily, fortunately, nothing came of it. I was a bit worried, but not too worried. So I will put that as a C. I almost want to put that as a B rank, but yeah, nothing really came of it except for like, I guess Iran eventually said like they put out a bounty on Trump's head. But yeah, anyway, on to the next. So I want to skip this one and go to Kobe Bryant and Gianna Bryant's untimely death. So unfortunately, I think back in February, Kobe Bryant and his daughter died in a helicopter crash. And I did like Kobe Bryant. I'm a big basketball fan, but Kobe Bryant was kind of like the enemy for me because he always beat the teams that I rooted for. I was a big Allen Iverson fan back in the day, and Kobe Bryant beat Allen Iverson and prevented him from like getting a ring. But I did respect Kobe's game. It was a sad, untimely death. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel impacted by that. I remember going to work and seeing some coworkers were deeply saddened by that. Like my boss or my supervisor was deeply saddened and affected by that. So I will put that as A tier. It was a very tragic event, especially young Gianna Bryant passing away because she was only 12 years old. She had so much promise. Beautiful, adorable little girl. Kobe Bryant's whole family is beautiful and adorable, but yeah, it was very tragic and untimely. Next, we have the California and Australian wildfires. So this is basically what looks like the equivalent of hell on earth. So like fires ablaze everywhere. I think in Australia there were animals, like over 100 million animals or something like that, lost their natural habitats, which is horrible. I believe this was caused because of like climate change, or like just the climate like heating up. Fortunately, I say this is S. I want to put it in S tier, but I'm going to put it in A tier because I feel like we have a chance to turn things around and prevent like these wildfires from happening again. But we got to like, you know, act now. But yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. I've been kind of pushing it off a little bit. The U.S. election between Trump and Biden. So everything leading up to the election was just a bit like chaotic. People are saying like, oh, Trump's going to win. Oh, Biden's going to win. Trump got big crowds, or Biden's got small crowds. And then the debates happened. The debates were hilarious, especially the first one where Trump like talking all over Biden, and then Biden just like told him like, would you shut up, man? And then Biden called him like a clown. Yeah. those were hilarious. The second debate with the vice presidents, with Kamala and Pence, were a bit on the boring side. And then the third debate was like a bit more calm because I think the moderator had like control over like shutting off the candidates' mics. So yeah, overall, the election election day itself was crazy. I remember like talking on the phone with my friend, and it was looking bad for Joe Biden. Like I remember going to bed thinking like, oh man, Trump is actually gonna like get another 4 years in office, because he was winning in Florida, he won Texas, he was winning in Ohio, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, like all of those places he was winning in. And I remember thinking like, oh man, this guy he's done for. Like Trump is going to get reelected. But then when I woke up the next day, like I remember it was like kind of hard for me to sleep that night, and I remember like my lady, she was listening to like a video of Trump talking. I thought that was like him giving his victory speech, and I'm like, all right, so we got another 4 years of Trump. We just gotta deal with it, like put up with it, find some way to get over it, but we'll overcome. We managed the last 4 years, even though I only experienced 2 years because I was in Japan, but we'll overcome it. Yeah. So then the next day, Michigan and Wisconsin switched blue and went for Biden, and then a few days later, Pennsylvania, Georgia went for Biden, and eventually Biden won the election and became the president-elect. So I'm gonna actually put that in B tier because I expected Biden to win. I didn't expect it to be as close as it was. So like Trump should actually be like really proud of himself for like getting that many votes and for like really closing a gap, because I thought it was going to be like a landslide. Like I thought it was going to be an easy one for Biden, but it wasn't. So that's that. Next, we have the pandemic, COVID-19. I have to put this as an S tier because this impacted everyone's life. Everyone's life been thrown into disarray. We have to work from home. Kids aren't able to go to school. Yeah, it's just been complete chaos. Like it's caused some other things that happen on this list too that I'm gonna rank later to occur. But COVID-19 has been literally hell on earth for me. It's just been a nightmare. It was only supposed to last 2 weeks. I was supposed to get 2 weeks out of work, just kind of relax, do whatever I want at home, and then come back. But no, it ended up lasting like nearly a year at this point. And I know some people that were affected with the virus, and it's just been a nightmare, especially with all the families that lost loved ones, all the thousands of people infected, all the thousands of people who passed away, the millions of people infected around the world and within the US. So yeah, easily COVID-19 is a S tier, like ungodly event that just ruined 2020. Like whatever chance 2020 had of being good, just ruined because of COVID-19. Okay, next, this is a little bit more controversial. We have Cuties from Netflix. So I did watch the movie Cuties. I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding it. I kind of feel like the director misunderstood like the audience. Like they didn't like read their audience very well. They had like a message that they want to put out. In case you didn't watch it or you never heard of this movie, Cuties is basically a movie that in a nutshell shows young girls doing inappropriate dancing and other inappropriate, wild, crazy things. That's not really a synopsis of the movie, but that's just some things that occur in the movie. Yeah, Cuties, I didn't like any of the characters. I think the plot line was kind of meh. I think it had a bad ending, like most Netflix movies do. They have bad ends. So I don't think I was as triggered because I feel like I'm kind of mature. I'm kind of able to like look past it and see what the director was going for. But I understand like why a lot of people were really upset and triggered by it, and I think they had their right to. So like I'm not going to defend the movie and say it was a good movie or like it wasn't that bad of a movie, but like I'm not going to say like I was extremely upset by it. I don't see it as like child you know what, but at the same time like I have no interest in watching it again. Like all the controversy aside, it was just not that good of a movie, but I will put it as a B tier. It was pretty controversial, and I remember there were some lawsuits being filed against this, and a lot of people dropped their Netflix subscriptions, and I remember like the Netflix stock started going like downward, and I remember I started like selling my Netflix stock after that. And yeah, I feel like after that incident, like just Netflix itself has never quite been the same. All right, next, this one mostly affects like teachers like myself. Distance learning, I absolutely hate it. Maybe some college students there, I'm not sure what it's like for college students, but like for young kids, like the group that I teach, is just awful. Like the kids, they know they can get away with whatever they want. They can wake up whatever time they want, they take a nap during school time, walk away, go get juice, go get snacks, be distracted by their relatives, and we're still responsible for teaching these kids and having them learn like these specific skills that they're supposed to learn by their certain grade or age, whatever. Yeah, I hate distance learning. I hate having virtual meetings. I hate Zoom calls. I hate Google Meet. After 2020, after the pandemic ends, I don't want to do these things again. I sometimes I feel like I don't like peopling. I'm one of those people that don't feel like being around other people. I call that peopling. I have those moods sometimes. I have those days where I just don't want to people. And yeah, I will put up with peopling just to get over this virtual environment, this virtual work environment. And unfortunately, I have to put up with it for at least another month until we can go back into our physical building and teach the kids in person. So for me, I'm going to put distance learning at an A tier. It may not be that high for other people, but for me, it's just awful. Like, technology is not fail proof. Okay, so moving on. Next, we have the BLM, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, the racial riots, all those things that broke out like over the summer. I'm going to put this at an S tier because, like, me as a black person, I feel like this really affected me and my culture, my people, my skin folks, my kinfolk. Yeah, just watching that video of George Floyd broke my heart. It messed with me mentally. There were like a lot of things that happened in this country. Like, there were a lot of people who really started to support the BLM movement. There were actually protests in my hometown, which I've never seen a BLM protest in my hometown before. But yeah, there were protests in my hometown, and not just my hometown, but all over the nation there were protests. And I think people really started to like reflect and think about how race affects us in this society as a whole. And unfortunately, George Floyd's death was a catalyst to all of those things that kind of ticked off afterwards. And I think these two in the S tier so far, the pandemic and the racial riots, it's kind of what cost President Trump his election bid. And yeah, so BLM, George Floyd, the protests, the riots, all that, S tier for me. Next, the Cairns. The Cairns, most of the situations with the Cairns were kind of annoying. Like you just wish they would just shut up, leave black people alone, or, you know, whatever person they're bothering alone. How dare they have like this sense of entitlement? But after a while, I became more amused by Cairns, especially like the memes of Cairns, than I were like offended by them. I don't think I was really truly offended, but like, yeah. So I will put the Cairns at like somewhere. I want to put it somewhere between B or C. I'm gonna leave it at B because like it did affect some people. Like I remember the guy, he was like around the George Floyd stuff, when that stuff started breaking out, like the guy, he was like in a park I guess bird watching, and then a woman with her dog started calling the cops on him, and she was like choking her dog in the process. So yeah, that was craziness. We had Permit Patty, we had key holder, I think key card Kelly or something like that, or the guy that didn't want the family to like go in the swimming pool. I forgot what nickname they gave him, but yeah, like the Cairns, I know that trend is going to carry over, I guess, for the rest of our generation, but like I hope the trend kind of dies out. I hope to see less Cairns in 2021. All right, so moving on, the lockdowns. I want to put the lockdowns in A tier, mostly because like the lockdowns were just boring. We couldn't go anywhere. Even now, we really can't go anywhere. We can't be in large crowd. Yeah, if you want to go to the supermarket, you have to wear a mask. We still have to wear masks. I used to wear gloves. I used to wipe down my groceries, and that's when like toilet paper started being scalped, hand sanitizer started being scalped, of course Lysol products, anything that will clean bacteria or whatever, essentials that you need to live and keep yourself sanitary were being scalped. And we were all forced to stay at home. We couldn't eat at restaurants, can't go to gyms, amusement parks, movie theaters. All these lockdowns caused like a lot of businesses to go out of business forever. Like I think the movie theaters that we had within my area, they're all shut down, and I don't see them coming back in the future, unfortunately. So yeah, not quite S tier like with the pandemic itself or the Black Lives Matter racial riot things breaking out, but pretty close to it. So therefore it's A tier for me. Next we have the murder hornets. I guess the murder hornets were these hornets. It's like a story that broke out like over the summer. They were just killing bees. And I'm not sure if you know this, but bees are like the most important creatures to us as human beings. They create like 70% or something like that of our food that we eat. So without the bees, we will eventually all die off, or we'll lose a major part of our food source, because like I said, they produce like a lot of the food, help produce a lot of the food that we eat. And these bees came from Japan, surprisingly, because I've never seen these hornets, I call them bees, these hornets in Japan before. They somehow migrated here and started killing off the bees that we need to help create our food. So I want to put it at a C tier because like I didn't see like too much craziness break out from this, but at the same time, bees are important. Bees they're killing off are important to our survival, so I'm going to put them at B tier. All right, next PlayStation 5 scalpers. So the PlayStation 5 scalpers are the scum of the earth. I made videos about this before. They ruined Christmas for a lot of us. A lot of us, myself included, could not get a PS5 for the life of us. No matter if we got on the website early, like we got on Walmart.com early, if we got on PlayStation Direct, if we refreshed our page many times, we could not get a PS5. And then they just went on the sites, used robot, purchased like multiple units, and just like post them on sites such as like Facebook Marketplace or eBay, and sell them for like super exorbitant prices, like 3 times, sometimes even 5 times the prices. I even seen like one time it was like 60 times the price. Someone was charging like over $60,000 for a PlayStation 5. It's crazy madness, y'all. So my hope is that like in 2020, Sony start to really pick up the production of the PlayStation 5s, beat these scalpers to the punch, like push these units in retailers and stop like just having online sales for them, so that way people like myself who truly want a PS5 can have better access to it. So because of that, it wasn't the end all be all, but I'll put it as a B tier because like it ruined people's hobbies, mine included, and it just ruined a lot of people's Christmas. Like I didn't really want anything for Christmas except for a PS5, but I could not get one. It just reminds me like I think last week I went to the mall and I saw this guy walking past. He had like 3 PlayStation 5s. I'm like, oh, this guy's just asking to be mugged. But he had like a little kid with him. I wouldn't mug him anyway, but like, yeah, he's just rubbing it in our faces. Like he has 3 PlayStation 5s, but anyway. I digress. Next, we have the legendary RGB Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I think I said it backwards. I said RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was one of the Supreme Court justices that passed away, like just right before the election. When this happened, I said, oh shiznit, because I knew that like they were going to like fill her seat like as soon as possible, and I thought that was solidified like Trump being reelected into office. He appointed a new judge, Amy Coney Barrett, ACB. Unfortunately for Trump, she did not help Trump get a new election bid or win re-election. She helped throw out like his Supreme Court cases. Yeah, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she ruled on a lot of really important things, especially consideration towards women's rights. So if you don't know a lot about her, research a lot of the work she did. She's a legend. She'll always be a legend. She'll go down in history books, I think, as a hero. If you're on the other political side, if you're, I guess, you're conservative, maybe you see her as like an enemy, but that's okay, whatever. You're entitled to have those opinions. We all have our own opinions, but I'm going to put her death was impactful, I believe, so I'm going to put her in B tier. Next, we have Tiger King. This was one of the breakout shows from Netflix, like during the beginning of the pandemic. It's basically about exotic animal zoo, like in Florida or whatever. They have like all these wild tigers and whatnot, and I guess like a murder occurred between like the owner or the lady Carol Baskins. I watched like the first episode of it and I just could not get into Tiger King. I didn't see the hype about it, but like the memes were kind of funny, I guess. So I didn't really feel the impact of this, but I will give Tiger King I have to put it on the D tier. I'm sorry, guys. I just didn't feel the impact of this, but like the memes, like I said, were funny, but I just couldn't get into the series. I tried to watch it, it just wasn't that entertaining, but I digress. So there you have it, guys. These are some of the major current events that happened in 2020 that impacted some of our lives for probably the remainder of our lifetimes. 2020 will definitely go down as a crazy year. Hey guys, sorry about that. So my camera cut out on my computer, so I'm gonna just end off the video soon. Yeah, 2020 was just a crazy year. It's gonna go down as in the record books, a year that we're all gonna remember for generations to come. It's gonna be something that's gonna be talked about like in history books for our future great grandchildren. It was a wild one. I'm ready for this year to end. I'm ready to see what 2021 is going to bring. 2020, adios, sayonara, goodbye, good riddance. But thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like what you saw, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to stay tuned for some more videos. I will be making more videos, uploading soon. I'm out. Class dismissed.